ABC News, because you know we love them. Former FBI Director James Comey indicted days after Trump demanded his DOJ move now to prosecute enemies. Prosecutors earlier said they couldn't establish probable cause to charge Comey, which is a lie, because we've got this post from Greg Price, which is hilarious. On the left, James Comey telling Congress in September of 2020 that the Steele dossier wasn't used in the 2016 Intelligence Committee assessment on the Russia hoax. Right. Tulsi Gabbard's release from July showing the Steele dossier was directly cited and that Obama intel officials overruled senior intel officials who told them it was garbage. Now, I believe he's being indicted on obstruction as well. Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted on 2 of 3 counts sought by prosecutors. 1 count of making false statements and 1 count of obstruction of justice, just days after President Donald Trump issued a public demand for his DOJ to act now to bring prosecutions against Comey and other political foes. The charges follow Trump's ousting of U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, Eric Siebert, who, according to sources, had expressed doubts internally about bringing cases against Comey, as well as New York Attorney General Letitia James, after Trump appointed him to lead the office. I would just like to point out where we are in this country. They went after Donald Trump on fake charges. Trump says, okay, if that's the standard, we go after them as well. It's remarkable to me that under the Biden administration and in New York, they said, well, these are highly dubious, but let's bring them anyway. And then under Trump, the attorneys are like, well, we can't really do it enough. The standard was set by the Democrats. Trump is saying, hey, look, you want to come after me citing mortgage fraud or civil fraud for loans because an officer made a mistake on some numbers? He's going to go after Letitia James when she claimed a property outside of New York was her primary residence, which gave her favorable loan terms. I think the same thing is true for Adam Schiff, but we'll see what happens there. And now you have James Comey. Now, James Comey said they didn't use the Steele dossier. Tulsi Gabbard says we went through that. Here we go. Here's an IC report showing they did. What's the problem? What's the problem? Let me say this, though. I will say this of myself and pretty much anybody who's prominent in this space. Y'all better pray Trump doesn't lose this fight, because we've already seen what they're willing to do to their media adversaries. We've seen what the left and the Democrats have been willing to do to run-of-the-mill Trump supporters who bounced around on January 6th. I ain't talking about the rioters. I'm talking about the people who are milling about after the riot was over, who also got a year plus in jail or solitary. Going after James Comey, this is not a shot across the bow. The Democrats already ignited the flames, and Trump is simply responding. So it is now on. At the highest level of politics, Trump has told the deep state, you are going down. At the street level, we are dealing with 3 terror attacks in 3 weeks. So you guys tell me what's happening in this country.
I mean, look, as far as the situation with Comey, it's good that they're indicting him. It's good that a grand jury decided that they had enough evidence to prosecute. It's good that they've actually moved on this, didn't let the statute of limitations run out. But I see this online, like people tweeting at like Kash Patel and people tweeting at Republican lawmakers saying, hey, make the leftists stop killing us. Like, that's where we're at. Right. So it's great that they put Comey in, or that that Comey's indicted and they're going to prosecute. That's all well and good. But we've actually gone past the need for that.
I got to interject. If we do not see justice on the highest level of these people, the street level stuff is immaterial. This is the most important thing. Look. Obviously, street-level law enforcement needs to stop far-left terror and Antifa and all that. Because another thing, we got a lot of news. Trump has ordered his DOJ to go after all of these leftists and all the structures. Ground level is important. But if Comey, Clinton, and their ilk are able to gain power again, I have zero concern whatsoever for Antifa. Phil, you'll be in a gulag. Just make sure you share with me your sandwich at lunchtime.
It doesn't matter. The thing is, it doesn't matter if they put Comey away, because it doesn't matter if it's Comey or who the individuals are, because there are other people that will be pursuing those places in the administration. There's going to be a Democrat that's going to be running. There's going to be people in the bureaucracy that will want to, or there will be people on the Democrat side that will fill the roles, and they're going to act the same.
You don't need to wipe out every single soldier on the enemy's battlefield if you shatter their center and the rest of them flee. If Trump can get if simply these indictments and these charges against Comey, Letitia James, potentially Schiff, anybody else, if that breaks their ranks, those people you're describing are going to run for the hills. They'll find them. Oh, what's that? They're already getting citizenship in foreign countries. Italy, I hear.
I mean, well, look, it would be great if they fled the country, obviously. But I do think that on the I think the ground level is the thing that's more immediate. Like the idea.
Well, you can do both. I don't. Why not?
I'm not. Again, I'm not saying. Like I said, it's good that they got him. It's good that they've indicted him, and I want to see more. I'm not saying that it's not. It shouldn't happen or whatever. I'm saying it's
you arrest these people and the ground stuff disappears.
I don't know that I agree with that.
I think so. They'll lose all their funding and all their legal support. Right now, with the infrastructures of power in place, these people might actually get off on the charges.
Well, I mean, the dude that initially, that just most recently shot up the ICE facility, he took care of it himself, and that's something that actually happens fairly regularly. Like they'll go and it'll be suicide by cop, or they'll commit suicide themselves. You look at all the trans shooters that have gone to schools and stuff. There's not all of them, obviously, but a lot of them get taken care of on when they're carrying out the attack.
I think if.
And again, this isn't to say that it's a bad idea.
If Jimmy Kimmel's off the air, if the Democrats that waged lawfare against Trump are in prison, and what remains are these squishy, middle of the road, soft Democrats who are be like, I'm not going to support any of that stuff, you will stop this cultural movement on the ground level. Their infrastructure that pays them that gives them resources to be on the ground, that bails them out of jail, will evaporate overnight. It's the way I look at it is, you've got an infestation, and all you're doing is chasing the bugs that you can see instead of going into the walls and finding the hive. So, of course, if we had a wasp's nest in the building and they were flying around, we'd be swatting the wasps to get rid of them when we see them. But we'd also call an exterminator to go in the walls, figure out the nest is, and get the nest torn out. This is substantially more important, in my opinion. Getting rid of the individual actors will stop the individual actor at the time, but how do you stop them from reproducing? And it's moves like this.
Yeah, I totally. Well, I mean, this is probably the biggest test, one of the biggest tests of the DOJ so far, because, I mean, this was a buzzer beater, right? Like the statute of limitations, September 30th. That's when Comey last testified, September 30th, 2020. And it's like, to prove that he didn't have any knowledge of the statement, to prove like perjury in this case, it's a really high bar. That's why this is a buzzer beater in this case, is because they needed to build this case to the best of their abilities. And so that's just like, because these things matter. These things are, like Tim is saying, you're cutting the head of the snake. That's like,
I think the issue is that if Trump got in on day one and said, go arrest Comey, he'd be like, I ain't doing it. And that's literally what we saw. They're going to be like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You're asking me to go to war with the deep state right now. And I talked to Seb Gorka a couple months ago, and I asked him, has the deep state lost? Have we won? He says, no. The deep state is still very much there, and we are battling with them. So right now, with this move against Comey, powerful, prominent, uniparty, elite establishment, international elements are saying Trump wants war, he'll get war. And I mean, I'm talking about lawfare, legal actions. If Trump can just go now, and it's fascinating because what did we hear? Was it going to be end of summer? We were going to start seeing these arrests. I think you can send them packing. Now there's rumors that he's looking into criminal activity of the Soros, his foundations, Open Society, and things like that, and they're going to get it. They're going to get it.
Is that not really where they need to be targeting, though? These funding bases. There's always going to be another James Comey who's going to step into the role. That lobby and that media empire is so big. There's so much power that comes along into it. I'm sure it's not going to be super difficult to let someone also they can cultivate another individual like him.
I think
I'd
say no.
Those financial bases and that sort of media base is really what he probably needs to hit to kind of provide that sort of long-term, that longevity that's going to allow them to win, in the by-elections, but also when we get to 2028 as well.
My argument to your question, wouldn't that just be another Comey? The answer is no.
You think so? What?
Yeah, if Trump says, go to war with me and I'll destroy your life and you'll regret it, people are going to say, I ain't going to war with Trump. And that's what I'm talking about. They tried to play that game. But the problem is Democrats have always been fairly weak. And let me clarify or qualify that statement. They're willing to go insane. They are willing to send people on the ground. But as people, the only fear generated by the Democratic Party is the system itself, which they inherit, not which they've built. Trump's a lunatic. Trump is the guy that people actually think he might press the button. You know, he had that famous phone call where he told Putin and Xi, he told Xi, if you invade Taiwan, and Putin, if you invade, what did he say? Kiev, Ukraine, I'm going to nuke you. And he was like, I don't know if they believed me, maybe 5%. And everyone's kind of like, you know, when Trump says it, you pause for a second. Because when Obama says it, no one actually believes it.
Is that not just that sort of Nixonite mad dog sort of mentality that Nixon's crazy, he's unpredictable, and like, you know, obviously they went after Nixon again with the lawfare type thing.
I don't think Nixon's got. I don't think Nixon's got anything on Trump.
No,
Trump put out a public statement saying, "Pam, go arrest my enemies now." And so what I think he's hoping for, that was a shot across the bow. I think he's hoping the next in line for a position like Comey, which wouldn't even come unless they win in 2028, is saying like, dude, best be a fisherman than meddle in the politics of man.
Right.
That's what Trump is hoping for right now. There's no guarantees it happens. That's why I'm saying if Trump loses, it's war.
Yeah.
Trump needs to make sure he puts the fear of God in these people, of the federal law enforcement apparatus, and makes them regret it. They did it to him, and they lost. And now I say lock him up.
Trump's getting old, though. I mean, like, you talking about going to warfare with Trump, he's going to be, no offense to Trump, but he's getting older in age. So if they go after him, say he does retaliation against Comey, good, and Miss Letitia James, that's cool. They can go. But when he gets out of office, who are they going to fight? Who's going to get in Trump's place to fight against them? If
Vance.
they go after, you really think so?
Yeah, Vance is going on X calling people dip itched. I'm not going to swear,
Right.
You know, but I saw that and I said that's what I voted for.
Is it your opinion that there is no one?
No, I'd not. Well, Vance would be my only guess as of right now, but I don't think there's any Trump out there today.
The Trump side has an amazing bench, and the Democrats have none.
Yeah. Well, also, that's why this is important, because you have to make an example out of Comey, like Tim was saying. For any future FBI director, make an example out of Letitia James. Like, this lawfare crap is not going to slide. So whoever that is, it doesn't really matter. Whoever it is that replaces Trump, Trump's giving that person breathing room now. They're not going to have the boot on their neck of whatever, you know, God forbid a Democrat administration comes back in and they appoint all these chowderheads. He can give us a little breathing room if he sets the example here and sets it down.
If you know, I feel bad for you, Tate, because like if a new Democrat administration gets in, God, I'll be 42, 43. I had a good life, went on adventures. How old are you, Tate?
24.
24, man. Yeah. Being in a gulag at 20, 26, 27, all the best years taken away. Oof.
But you're right. It gives other people room down the road. If Trump gets you're going to say about.
Look at Phil, rocking out, rock star stage, platinum records, and then he doesn't got to worry about the gulag till he's in his 50s.
He'll be rocking with the rocks.
AOC puts me in the quirked up white boy camp. It's going to be terrible. I'm not looking forward to it.
You're going to be in AOC's harem.
Oh,
she likes those redheaded white boys.
Listen, there's
does
worse
like-
places to be.
She does like the redheaded white boys.
You got to wear sandals too.
You know, I'm not going to disavow.
But yeah, that's good. You're right. If it does get through and he prosecutes these people, that gives people down the road a leeway, an open path to go and say, okay, we're going to prosecute you. You wanted to go against us.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.